At its core, NLP is about teaching computers to better understand and process human language. This is a challenging task, as human language is very ambiguous and context dependent. For example, the word BASS, bass or bass. Now, it all depends on what you're talking about. Let's say you're freshwater fishing and you say, I caught a bass. Well, that makes sense. Also, if you're playing the bass guitar, then the frequency is a sound and it's spelled the same way. Understanding the intended message in a person's sentence usually comes with a deep understanding of a language and the context in which the word is being used. Part of speech tagging is allowing computers to better understand the grammar and the structure of sentences. Today we're going to be looking at part of speech. And part of speech, think of nouns, verbs, and adjectives. And there's also more information in there. However, we're just going to grab verbs, adjectives, and nouns because what we're trying to do is parse a web page and understand how a robot would potentially look at this particular web page to improve its organic traffic. So we'll start by going over all the imports in Python, and we're using PyCharm Community Edition, which is free. First, let's look at the import requests, and that's where we are going to be requesting information from a website here on line 12. Next, we'll be looking for Beautiful Soup. Beautiful Soup is the go-to library for web parsing, and we're going to use it today. Then after that, NLTK. This is a natural language processing, and others may consider this as text, unstructured text, and then we're going to be diving into the text using this NLTK library. First, we want to simulate that we are a user. If you're trying to hit a WordPress website, then you might run into mod security, which is native for most cPanel hosting packages. You want to work around this and, again, simulate that you're a real person, and that'll allow you to request this information using the requests library. After that, we'll use our Beautiful Soup and we'll get the text. And if you want to see what this looks like, you can remove this comment here and run this code. Next, we'll tokenize the text. Then we'll perform part of speech tagging on the tokens. Part of speech is, again, nouns, verbs, and adjectives. Below that, we're filtering the tagged tokens to include only the specified part of speech tags. Now, what this means for us is we're going to be looping through the information, and for every time we see a part of speech that matches, then we will filter down to just this information. Here, we'll be counting the amount of occurrences for every part of speech word that we found. So we'll be counting the occurrences of nouns, adjectives, and verbs. This is important because we want to see the amount of usage for part of speech. That will help us understand how robots are looking at our website. And next, we'll import Panda. Go ahead and take that, move it up here, just so we can clean up our code a little. Below that, we'll be creating a data frame from the token counts dictionary. What we want to do is sort this information. We also want it to be a little bit more presentable. Throwing it into the pandas data frame is going to allow us a little bit more access to other tools, other possibilities, and it makes it very easy to output a CSV here. Next, we'll do the sort. So this is where we're managing our data frame. We're calling out what we want as far as the columns, and we're even labeling the column header here. And then below that, we're sorting by what we labeled previously. And what we're doing there is we're looking to count the occurrences that things are happening, and then we'll be printing the data table. And we're going to say head 10, so that would be the top 10 rows. And since we're sorted, it will be helpful. And let's go ahead and run it. We'll hit play. Okay, so we just scraped this page. We used Beautiful Soup to extract the information. Then we tokenize, and that is a part of your NLP process. It's a part of your chain of events that needs to happen prior to doing sentiment analysis or analyzing entities, or what we're doing today, which is part of speech. Then below that, we're performing the part of speech, which is tagging all the tokens. After that, we are building a list of values, and this list is containing what we want to include in our analysis. Then we're going through and building those filter tokens, and then you can see we're counting what those are. And by the way, the counter comes from here, the collections, and then the data frame. And then the last two steps will be sorting what we are calling out as one of those columns. And below that, we're just grabbing the top 10. We're calling it a string as well. So we'll hit play one more time just so we can run it. Very good. As the amount of text data on the internet continues to grow, so will the importance of NLP, which is natural language processing.